What a great way to wrap up a solid mini-series. Attack on Titan Part 2. The second part of an overall two-part mini-series. Welcome to day 9 of my Scare Show 3, titled One Last Scare. Let us begin. The plot. Eren is held under interrogation after a twist that happened at the end of Part 1, which I will not spoil, but will say it is awesome. However, after Eren is kidnapped by a Titan, and a majority of the soldiers are killed, more will be revealed than ever before. Now, the remaining soldiers must fight on and follow through with a plan that was thought up in the first movie. I hate to say it, but this was not as good as the first movie. There's just too much talking, which I usually have no problem with. But this amount of talking leads to plot twist after plot twist, and reveals way too much about these Titans, when I would have preferred them being somewhat of a mystery. But then we wouldn't have a two-part movie now, would we? The acting is still good even with the questionable dialogue. The characters are even more distinguishable now, and I felt more and more pity for them when certain ones died. On the other hand, there are at least a minute or two worth of flashbacks. Also, the casual Titans that were the main focal point of the first movie are now standing around, walking in fields. They take a backseat for these new, bigger, and smarter Titans. Now, don't get me wrong, these gargantuan Titans are cool to look at, but that leaves less people munching and more people smashing. There are still a lot of human body desecrations, but it is nowhere near as horrific or vile as the first, which leads me to the gore, the effects. People are smashed to the point where they are nothing but blood, guts, and body parts. There's also bloody fight scenes, but other than that, not much else is done in terms of human gore. I think there's either a few or just plain zero amounts of human casualties by the casual Titans, if I remember correctly. The CGI is breathtaking in a few scenes. One thing that I loved about the first is that for the most part when someone is eaten, they do not turn into CG models. They more or less use green screen compositing and wiring to have the characters be where the Titan is. Although for severed limbs, blood, and stuff like that, it's all CG. Pretty good CGI. The musical score! They use the same music as the first. It is a solid score, and I think if they added anything new, it would lessen or greaten the impact of the movie. It's just awesome music by an awesome composer. This honestly felt like a movie where the story is almost done. They just needed to stretch out second movie out to be about 90 minutes, which is what they did. But it still tells a great story with some interesting twists and tons of bloody action and adventure. While this lacks the horrifying nature and countless amounts of blood and gore of the first, it still is a great time. So if you can spare 3 hours, I highly recommend you watch both of these back to back. The first 18 minutes or so are pretty much just an interrogation scene, but much like the first movie, it moves at a brisk pace throughout, so 18 minutes or so feel like 5. Overall, I give Attack on Titan Part 2 a 3.5 out of 5. Back to back on the attack. This movie is not as good as the first, but it should definitely not be considered to be crap, like these movies have been. Lion Brian Gatto, host of Horror Show Movie Reviews. Make sure to like my Facebook page in the description below to leave comments and subscribe.